There is a quiet moment each morning before the world begins to rush. Perhaps you know it well, the first sound of the kettle boiling or the soft light spilling through the curtains. For a brief instant, life seems still. Yet the moment our phones light up, messages arrive, tasks demand attention, and worries resurface, that stillness dissolves. We find ourselves once again chasing deadlines, reacting to noise and drowning in a sea of distractions. In a society that celebrates speed achievement and constant stimulation, calmness is often misunderstood. We are taught to equate strength with power control, with volume, and happiness with endless excitement. But beneath the surface of human experience lies a different truth. Our deepest joy and greatest strength emerge not from chaos, but from calm. Calmness is not passivity. It is not indifference. It is the ability to remain centered when the storm rages around you. It is the clarity to see what truly matters when emotions or circumstances try to blur your vision. And from this calmness grows something far greater: peace. A peace that is not dependent on external conditions, but one that lives within, steady and unshakable. This inner calm is more than a pleasant feeling. It is a form of power. It heals the nervous system, restores perspective, and allows us to act with wisdom rather than impulse. It creates a fortress within us, shielding us from negativity without turning us cold. It transforms the way we face conflict, disappointment, and even success. When calmness becomes the root, peace blossoms, and from peace arises joy, the kind of joy that cannot be stolen by circumstance. One of our listeners recently shared a comment. I didn't realize how powerful calmness could be until I stopped reacting to every little thing. That simple shift changed the way I experience life. Their words remind us that this is not theory. It is transformation available to anyone willing to practice. So if these ideas resonate with you, consider subscribing to this channel and sharing your own reflections in the comments. Together, we can explore what it means to build strength through calmness and discover the kind of peace that endures. The question then is simple. If your greatest strength and your truest joy could come from stillness, would you have the courage to slow down long enough to find it? We often mistake noise for strength. Think of the last heated argument you witnessed, perhaps in a workplace meeting, maybe even in your own home. Someone raised their voice, pounded the table, filled the air with intensity. For a moment, everyone else went quiet, almost convinced that this person had won. But what happens after the shouting fades? Usually the room is left heavy, drained, unsettled. The one who shouted is rarely respected, only feared, and fear is not the same as strength. Social media amplifies it daily. Scroll through your feed and you will see anger outperforming wisdom. Outrage garners clicks, drama sells, and those who speak with fury appear to carry influence. Yet what we rarely see is the aftermath, the exhaustion, the mistrust, the emptiness that follows a life fueled by constant agitation. Imagine a doctor in an emergency room surrounded by chaos machines, beeping relatives, crying lives hanging by a thread. The staff looks to her, not because she is the loudest, but because she is the calmest. Her steady hands clear instructions and unshaken focus save lives. That is strength. Or imagine a firefighter walking into a building filled with smoke. Fear is in the air, but his breath is slow, his steps deliberate, his voice measured. Everyone follows him because he is the only one not consumed by panic. That too is strength. We rarely admire the crashing waves, but we do respect the mountain that does not move, no matter how violently the sea pounds against it. Partly because chaos is entertaining. It grabs attention. We are wired to notice threats, so the person who shouts first or moves fast tricks our nervous system into thinking, this must be important. But important is not the same as wise, and energy is not the same as mastery. True strength is quiet. It does not need to perform. It does not need validation. It shows itself in how you respond when tested. Do you add fuel to the fire, or do you remain the water that cools it? Do you rush blindly, or do you pause long enough to see the path clearly? Take a moment and ask yourself, when people look at me in moments of tension, do they see a storm, or do they see an anchor? Studies on emotional intelligence show that leaders who remain composed under pressure inspire more trust and loyalty than those who react impulsively. Families report feeling safer with a calm parent than with one who erupts at every frustration. Even in sports athletes who regulate their emotions outperform those who let adrenaline control them. Calmness is not a lack of passion, it is the highest form of discipline. Noise can intimidate in the short term, but it cannot sustain respect. Only calmness builds foundations strong enough to endure. That is why in history we remember not just the warriors who shouted the loudest, but also the philosophers, the teachers, the quiet leaders, whose presence gave stability to their communities. Here is the paradox. The more frantically someone tries to appear strong, the more fragile they often are. The person who insists on being feared is usually terrified of being forgotten. But the calm person, the one who does not need to prove themselves, carries a confidence that cannot be faked. Their strength is not borrowed from the reactions of others, it is rooted in themselves. Have you ever seen someone stay calm in chaos and completely change the outcome? Share your story in the comments. Which do you respect more, the person who shouts or the one who stays composed? I'd love to hear your view. Do you think today's world rewards loudness more than wisdom? Comment below. I'm curious. The Stoics would call calmness the highest expression of strength. Seneca observed that no man is free who is not master of himself. To him, losing control of one's temper was a form of slavery, a surrender to impulses. Epictetus reminded his students that we cannot dictate what others do or say, but we can always choose our response. And Marcus Aurelius, a man who commanded the Roman Empire, wrote privately to himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Their message is clear. Authority without self-control is brittle. The person who governs their own mind stands unshakable, while those who chase validation through noise remain forever at the mercy of circumstance. Peace is a word we all crave, but few of us know how to touch it. We search for it in vacations, in quiet weekends, in the temporary escape of entertainment. Yet peace that depends on circumstance is fragile. The moment the noise returns, the peace vanishes. This is why so many people feel trapped. They wait for the world to quiet down, but the world never does. The truth is that lasting peace is not found in the silence of the environment, it is found in the stillness of the mind. Imagine walking through a busy city street. Cars honk, strangers watch advertisements, flash, and everything seems designed to pull your attention in every direction. Yet inside you can carry a different rhythm. You breathe slower. Your thoughts do not chase every distraction. You let the noise exist, but you do not let it rule you. That inner calm is the beginning of peace. A person may long for tranquility, but if their mind is constantly pulled by every emotion, every headline, every irritation, then peace is like water poured into a cracked jar. It slips away instantly. Calmness, on the other hand, seals the cracks. It creates the container in which peace can stay, even when life is loud. Think of moments in your life when you felt calm. Perhaps it was watching the ocean, or sitting with a close friend in silence, or simply noticing the sound of your own breath at night. In those moments, you probably felt something else too, a gentle peace spreading quietly without needing to be announced. That connection is no coincidence. Calmness is not the same as peace, but it is the root, the foundation. Without it, peace remains a wish. With it, peace becomes a presence. The visible branches are peace, the part others can see in your demeanor, your tone, your presence. But the invisible root are calmness. If the roots are shallow, the tree withers at the first strong wind. If the roots are deep, the branches remain steady no matter the storm. Calmness feeds peace, just as roots feed branches. This is why people who cultivate calmness become anchors in their families, communities, and workplaces. They are the ones others seek in moments of crisis. Not because they have all the answers, but because their presence itself is soothing. They radiate stability, and that stability invites peace in others as well. But cultivating calmness requires practice. It is not about suppressing emotions nor pretending to be unaffected. It is about observing without being swallowed, pausing before reacting, choosing response over impulse. Over time, this practice deepens into an inner habit. Eventually, calmness becomes your default mode, and peace begins to follow you, not because the world changed, but because you did. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, when was the last time you felt truly calm? Did you notice how peace seemed to appear naturally in that space? Do you think peace can exist without calmness, or are they inseparable? Share your thoughts below. What's one small practice that helps you stay calm when life gets noisy? I'd love to hear your ideas. If calmness is the root, what branches of peace have you noticed in your own life? For the Stoics, peace was not something granted by fortune or denied by chaos. It was a direct outcome of calmness. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." To him, calmness was the inner fortress that made peace possible regardless of the world outside. Epictetus taught his students not to be disturbed by events, for disturbance is not in the event, but in our judgment of it. Seneca went further, describing how a calm mind remains unshaken by misfortune, not exalted by success. All three point to the same truth. Peace is not a prize we wait to receive. It is the natural fruit of calmness cultivated daily. When life feels overwhelming, our instinct is often to run to seek distraction, to drown out discomfort with noise, or to chase after something new. But healing does not arrive through escape. Healing begins in stillness. It is in those quiet spaces when we stop running that the body and mind find their way back to balance. Think about what happens to the body under stress. The heart races, the muscles tighten, the mind spins in loops of worry. This is the sympathetic nervous system, the body's alarm bell screaming that danger is near. It was designed to protect us from wild animals thousands of years ago, but today it is triggered by emails, deadlines, and arguments. If the alarm never turns off, we live in a constant state of emergency. The cost is exhaustion, anxiety, even illness. Now imagine the opposite stillness. You sit quietly, even for a few minutes. Your breathing slows. The tension in your shoulders begins to ease. Your thoughts, once racing like a river after heavy rain, begin to settle like leaves drifting gently to the ground. In this moment, a different system takes over the parasympathetic nervous system. Scientists call it the rest and digest state. Here, the body repairs, the heart steadies, the mind begins to heal itself. This is why stillness is not a luxury, it is medicine. Just as a wound cannot close if you keep tearing it open, the mind cannot heal if it is never allowed to rest. Stillness gives the psyche a chance to mend. It creates the silence in which grief can soften, fear can lose its grip, and clarity can emerge. When someone suffers a loss, words often fail. What helps is not more noise, but presence. A quiet friend sitting beside them, a shared silence that says you are not alone. That stillness is healing. Or consider conflict. Arguments escalate when voices rise, but resolution begins when someone chooses silence over shouting, calm over chaos. In that pause, healing enters the room. Stillness is not about doing nothing. It is about doing the essential thing, allowing space for repair. Athletes know that rest days are what make training effective. Muscles grow stronger, not while lifting weights, but while recovering afterward. The mind is the same. Without stillness, experiences cannot be integrated, emotions cannot be digested, lessons cannot be absorbed. And here's the paradox. Stillness can be uncomfortable. When we first sit quietly, we meet the noise we've been avoiding. Memories surface, worries chatter, the mind resists. But if we stay, if we breathe, the storm eventually passes. Beneath the turbulence lies a deeper calm, and within that calm lies healing. Do you believe stillness is necessary for healing, or do you find movement more healing? Share your experience below. What's one simple practice of stillness you use when life feels overwhelming? I'd love to learn from your ideas. If you gave yourself 5 minutes of complete stillness today, what do you think might change? The Stoics did not use the modern language of the nervous system, but they understood the healing power of stillness. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that the soul finds peace when it retreats within, away from the clamor of the crowd. For him, stillness was not weakness, it was clarity. Seneca often wrote about the importance of withdrawing into oneself, not to escape life, but to return stronger. He saw silence as a medicine for the mind, a way to renew reason after the disturbances of the world. Epictetus urged his students to pause before reacting, to find that inner space where choice lives. In all their writings, a theme emerges. Healing does not come from chaos, but from calm. To them, stillness was not an absence of life, but the soil in which life could truly flourish again. When most people think of joy, they imagine fireworks, bursts of laughter at a party, the thrill of a new purchase, the rush of adrenaline from an adventure. These moments are real and they have their place, but excitement is not the same as joy. Excitement is like sugar-sweet, stimulating, but gone quickly, leaving us hungry again. True joy, the kind that lingers quietly in the heart, is rooted not in excitement but in calmness. The surface is still reflecting the sky perfectly. You can sit there for hours doing nothing and yet feel a deep, contented joy. Now contrast that with a carnival at night, flashing lights, loud music, crowded stalls. It's fun, yes, but does it bring the same depth of joy as the quiet lake? The carnival excites. The lake nourishes. Modern life has conditioned us to chase excitement as if it were joy. Advertisements scream that happiness lies in the next product, the next destination, the next upgrade. Social media amplifies this, showing highlight reels of people in constant motion, traveling, partying, achieving. And so we scroll, comparing, craving. Yet beneath the excitement lies restlessness. We wonder why we never feel satisfied, why the high never lasts. The reason is simple. Excitement stimulates, but calmness satisfies. Joy that comes from calmness is different. It does not depend on external stimulation. It arrives quietly, often in ordinary moments, sipping tea while rain taps the window, walking slowly under trees, hearing a loved one breathe beside you as they fall asleep. In these moments, nothing special is happening, yet you feel a fullness, a completeness. That is real joy. This joy is sustainable because it does not exhaust you. Excitement drains energy. After the party comes the fatigue, After the rush comes the crash. But calm joy renews you. It is restorative, like a river that keeps flowing quietly, feeding everything around it. Consider the wisdom of people who live long, peaceful lives. Rarely do they attribute their happiness to constant thrills. Instead, they speak of balance, of simple pleasures, of gratitude for each day. Their joy is steady, not spiky. It grows not from chasing stimulation, but from embracing calmness. Do you think joy and excitement are the same thing, or are they different? Share your thoughts below. What's one calm moment in your daily life that gives you genuine joy? If you had to choose between short bursts of excitement and long-lasting calm joy, which would you pick? The Stoics warned against mistaking fleeting pleasures for true happiness. Epictetus taught that chasing external highs leaves us enslaved to circumstances, forever dependent on what lies outside our control. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Calmness of mind, he believed, was the soil from which joy naturally springs. Seneca distinguished between pleasure and joy, noting that pleasure is tied to things that can be lost, while joy is tied to the soul's stability. For the Stoics, joy was not a carnival of thrills, but the quiet strength of a mind at peace with itself. It is this calm, enduring joy, not excitement, that makes a life resilient, balanced, and free. Attention is life's most valuable currency. Wherever your attention goes, your energy follows, and wherever your energy goes, your life is shaped. Yet many of us spend a shocking amount of this currency on negativity. We replay insults in our heads. We obsess over criticism. We scroll through outrage on social media. And by doing so, we pay a heavy price: our calmness, our joy, and ultimately our peace. Negative energy is seductive. It arrives loud, urgent, and sticky. When someone criticizes you, your mind clings to it. 10 compliments may fade, but one harsh word burns. Why? Because our brains are wired to notice threats more than blessings. In ancient times, survival depended on it. Missing a danger could cost your life, while missing a pleasant view cost nothing. But in today's world, this wiring means we give far more weight to negativity than it deserves. How many positive stories did you see? Probably very few. Negativity grabs attention because fear and anger spark stronger reactions. The media knows this, social platforms know this, and algorithms feed us what keeps us hooked. But ask yourself, at what cost? Each minute spent on outrage is a minute not spent on growth, learning, joy, or love. The truth is simple: what you feed grows. If you keep feeding negative energy with your attention, it grows stronger in your mind. You begin to carry other people's anger, other people's fears, other people's bitterness, as if they were your own. But none of these burdens were meant for you. Protecting your attention is not about denial, it's about discernment. You cannot stop negativity from existing, but you can decide how much space it takes up in your life. Imagine your mind as a house. Strangers may knock on the door, some kind, some hostile. Do you let every hostile guest walk in and sit at your table? Or do you choose who deserves a seat? Negative energy only takes root when you open the door. This is why calm people seem untouchable. It's not that negativity never comes their way. It's that they have learned not to feed it with attention. They acknowledge it, then let it pass, like clouds moving across the sky. Consider how much lighter life feels when you refuse to take the bait. Someone cuts you off in traffic, you can spend the next hour fuming, or you can let it go and keep your peace. A colleague makes a sharp comment, you can carry it for days, or you can decide that their bitterness is theirs, not yours. In both cases, the situation is the same. The difference lies in where you place your attention. Do you think ignoring negativity is strength? Or do you believe we should confront it? Share your thoughts below. What's one strategy you use to avoid giving too much attention to negative people or situations? If attention is currency, what are you currently spending it on? And is it worth the price? The Stoics were clear on this: energy wasted on negativity is energy stolen from virtue. Epictetus taught that insults and offences only harm us if we choose to internalize them. He compared it to a traveller who refuses to pick up a burden left on the road. If you do not lift it, it cannot weigh you down. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that other people's actions belong to them, not to him, and that he could always choose serenity over resentment. Seneca warned that anger and bitterness consume the one who harbours them more than the one who caused them. To the Stoics, the discipline of attention was sacred. By refusing to feed negativity, they kept their energy free for wisdom, justice, courage, and self-mastery. This practice remains just as powerful today. Victory is a word that usually conjures images of noise, cheering crowds, triumphant speeches, battles won with force. We are taught that to win is to be seen, to be recognized, to stand above others. But there is another kind of victory, one that makes no headlines and requires no applause. It is the silent victory of calmness. This victory happens in ordinary moments, often unnoticed. Imagine a heated argument where one person tries to provoke you with harsh words. The usual response would be to fight back, to match their tone, to defend your pride. But instead you choose calm. You listen without taking the bait. You answer with measured words, or perhaps you choose not to answer at all. In that moment, you have won not against the other person, but against your own impulse to be dragged into chaos. That is the silent victory. Others might even mistake your calmness for weakness, but deep inside, you know the truth. You have preserved your peace, you have protected your clarity, and you have refused to hand over control of your inner world. That is the kind of victory that builds strength, not just in one moment, but across a lifetime. Consider how often battles in life are not with others, but with ourselves. The urge to react, the desire to prove a point, the craving to be right, these are the true opponents. And they are relentless. But every time you choose calmness, you defeat them. Each time you stay centered, you add another stone to the fortress of your character. These victories accumulate quietly, shaping a person others trust, respect, and seek when storms arrive. There is a paradox here. The world celebrates external victories, but it is the internal ones that sustain us. The applause of others fades, but the mastery of yourself endures. Silent victories build a confidence that no amount of noise can give. Think of a candle flame in the dark. A gust of wind may try to extinguish it. If the flame flickers wildly, it dies. But if it burns steady and calm, it survives. That is the essence of calmness. Its victory is not loud, but it is enduring. Have you ever chosen silence or calm instead of reacting and later realized it was the true victory? Share your story. Do you think calmness is often mistaken for weakness in today's world? Why or why not? If you had to choose, would you rather win an argument or win your inner peace? The Stoics spoke often of victory, but not the kind won on battlefields. Epictetus reminded his students that the greatest victory is mastery over one's own passions. To him, anger was a chain, and calmness was freedom. Seneca wrote that those who let insults disturb them surrender their power to the offender, but those who remain calm keep victory for themselves. Marcus Aurelius, who commanded armies and ruled an empire, still believed the real triumph was inner. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Their wisdom shows us that calmness is not passivity, but a form of triumph so quiet that only the wise recognize it. Yet it is this silent victory, repeated day after day, that creates the unshakable strength of a truly free life. Calmness does not stand alone. It has a companion, a twin that walks beside it everywhere. Balance. Without balance, calmness is fragile, temporary. With balance, calmness becomes steady and enduring, like a tree whose roots run deep into the ground. Balance means living in a rhythm that respects both strength and softness, action and rest, giving and receiving. In a world that urges us to push harder, achieve more, and never pause, balance can feel almost rebellious. Yet it is in balance that calmness takes root. Think of the body. Too much strain and the muscles tear. Too little movement and they weaken. Strength grows only when effort and rest are in harmony. The same is true of the mind. Constant stimulation without silence leads to burnout. Too much withdrawal without engagement leads to stagnation. Peace arises in the balance of both. Consider a person at work. If they give every ounce of attention to deadlines and demands, neglecting rest, relationships, and reflection, they may succeed outwardly but collapse inwardly. On the other hand, if they retreat entirely, avoiding responsibility, they lose purpose and meaning. Calmness cannot live in either extreme. It flourishes in balance, showing up fully for life yet not being consumed by it. Some believe calmness means suppressing feelings. That is a mistake. True balance allows you to feel emotions fully without being drowned by them. Anger arises. You notice it. You understand it. You release it. Joy arises. You savor it. You share it. But you do not cling to it desperately. Balance teaches you to hold emotions gently, neither denying nor obsessing, but letting them pass through like waves. Think of walking a tightrope. If you lean too far left or right, you fall. The secret is not to freeze, but to move with awareness, adjusting step by step. Life is much the same. Calmness is not the absence of movement, but the graceful dance of balance. What happens when balance is lost? We see it everywhere. People burned out from overwork, relationships strained by neglect, societies torn apart by extremes. Imbalance breeds chaos and chaos erodes calmness. But when balance is restored, when work meets rest, when reason meets compassion, when ambition meets gratitude, calmness returns like water filling an empty well. Do you think calmness can exist without balance, or are they inseparable? Share your perspective. What area of your life feels most out of balance right now? Work, rest, or relationships? Have you ever restored balance in one part of your life and noticed calmness returning? Tell us your story. The Stoics often spoke of living according to nature. To them, nature itself was balance, day and night, growth and decay, storm and stillness. Marcus Aurelius reflected that just as the seasons move in harmony, so too must we find balance within our own lives. Seneca wrote extensively about moderation, warning against both overindulgence and excessive deprivation. Nothing is more ruinous than extreme prosperity, he noted, and nothing is more welcome than well-measured moderation. Epictetus encouraged his students to accept both hardship and ease as necessary parts of the whole, neither clinging to one nor rejecting the other. For the Stoics, balance was not compromise, it was wisdom, and from that wisdom, calmness naturally flowed. In their eyes, the balanced life was the fertile ground where peace could grow resilient against all extremes. Calmness is not only a gift we give ourselves, it is also a gift we offer to others. When you are calm, something remarkable happens. The space you create within yourself becomes a safe place for others. And from that space, compassion is born. Think of the last time you were upset and someone truly listened. They did not rush to fix you. They did not argue. They did not interrupt. They simply stayed calm and present. Their stillness was like a soft blanket wrapping your emotions in warmth. That is the power of calmness. It opens the door for compassion to enter the room. When we are lost in anger, fear, or anxiety, it is almost impossible to see another person's pain. Our emotions take up all the space, but calmness clears the fog. It allows us to notice the trembling in another's voice, the heaviness in their eyes, the unspoken words between their sentences. In calmness, we stop reacting to what people say and start hearing what they mean. Consider a parent with a crying child. If the parent panics, the child's distress multiplies. But if the parent remains calm, holding the child gently, the calmness transfers. The child feels safe, and the tears soften. Compassion flows naturally, not because the parent forces it, but because calmness makes space for it. The same happens in conflicts between adults. When tempers flare, two egos collide. Each person is consumed with defending themselves and compassion disappears. But when one person chooses calmness, something shifts. The temperature of the room drops. The possibility of understanding reappears. Compassion becomes possible again. This is why calm people are often described as having presence. Their presence is not loud, but it is healing. It makes others feel less alone. In workplaces, calm leaders earn trust not through intimidation, but through their ability to listen and respond thoughtfully. In friendships, the calm friend is the one people turn to when life hurts. Calmness transforms into compassion simply by making room for others' pain. But compassion is not just for others, it is also for yourself. Many of us are harsh toward ourselves, replaying mistakes, criticizing our flaws. Calmness interrupts this cycle. When you sit quietly with your own imperfections without judgment, you begin to treat yourself with gentleness. From this self-compassion comes resilience. Only when you stop wounding yourself with your own thoughts can true healing begin. Do you think calmness automatically leads to compassion, or is compassion a separate choice? Share your thoughts below. Has someone's calm presence ever changed the way you handled a difficult moment? Tell your story. What's one way you show compassion to yourself when you're struggling? The Stoics valued calmness, but not as an end in itself. It was a path to virtue, and one of those virtues was justice, which included compassion. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that people act out of ignorance, not malice, and that his role was to respond with understanding rather than rage. In Meditations, he wrote, "When you wake in the morning, tell yourself the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. But I cannot be injured by them, for we are made for cooperation." Seneca echoed this by urging patience with others' flaws, since we carry flaws of our own. Epictetus taught that calmness makes room for reason, and reason leads to empathy. For the Stoics, compassion was not weakness, it was the highest use of calm strength. Calmness can feel like a mysterious quality, something people are either born with or not. But psychology tells us otherwise. Calmness is not a gift of fate. It is a skill, a practice, something that can be trained like a muscle. And just like any skill, it becomes stronger with use. Most of the time, we are not aware of how quickly we react. An email frustrates us, and before we notice, our pulse rises and our reply is sharp. Someone criticizes us, and words fly out before we have even thought them through. Calmness begins the moment you notice the spark before it becomes a fire. Simply pausing to recognize, I am being triggered right now, interrupts the automatic chain of reaction. Psychologists call this the response gap, the space between stimulus and reaction. In that gap lies freedom. When you insert even a few seconds before responding, you give your brain time to switch from emotional reactivity to rational choice. Count to 3. Take one slow breath. Look away for a moment. These micro pauses are small doors that lead to calmness. Anxiety often comes from zooming in too close. We obsess over a single problem until it fills our entire field of vision. Calmness requires zooming out. Ask yourself, will this matter in a week, a year, 10 years? Often the answer is no. By widening perspective, you shrink the problem back to its true size. The mind is shaped by its surroundings. Constant noise, conflict, and negativity erode calmness. Creating calm environments, whether it's a tidy desk, a quiet corner, or a digital detox, makes calmness easier to sustain. Psychology calls this choice. Architecture design your environment to support the choices you want to make. Finally, calmness grows through practice. Like meditation, journaling, or mindful walking, calm practices train the nervous system. Over time, the baseline of your stress lowers. What once shook you deeply now barely stirs the surface. Calmness becomes less of an effort and more of a natural state. These are not abstract theories, they are practical tools. You can begin today by choosing one small practice, noticing your reactions, pausing for 3 seconds, or asking the 10-year question. Each small act builds the muscle of calmness. Which calmness practice do you already use, and which one do you want to try? Share in the comments. Do you believe calmness is more about environment or mindset? I'd love to hear your thoughts. What's the smallest step you've taken that made a big difference in your ability to stay calm? The Stoics practiced what modern psychology confirms. Epictetus taught his students to notice their impressions, the initial spark of thought or emotion before acting on them. He urged them to pause, examine, and decide if it was worth following. This is the same as the psychological response gap. Marcus Aurelius wrote often about perspective, reminding himself that most troubles are small when seen from the scale of time and the universe. Seneca emphasized environment advising to choose one's company carefully, since anger and restlessness spread like contagion. Their methods align with today's science. Calmness is not accidental, but trained. For the Stoics, daily reflection, intentional pauses, and disciplined environments were essential practices. They understood that the calm mind is not only more peaceful, but also more rational, fair, and free. We live in an age of noise. Notifications buzz in our pockets. News cycles spin every hour. Social media thrives on outrage, rewarding those who speak loudest and react fastest. Life feels faster than it has ever been, and with speed comes pressure. In this storm of information, we are losing something precious: calmness. And the price of losing it is higher than we realize. Anxiety disorders are rising worldwide, and depression is often fueled by overstimulation and constant comparison. When our minds never slow down, they cannot recover. Cortisol, the stress hormone, stays high, leaving us restless even when nothing is wrong. Without calmness, the mind becomes like a computer with too many tabs open, sluggish, overheated, and prone to crash. Without calmness, every disagreement becomes a battle. Couples spiral into arguments that could have been softened with one calm breath. Parents shout when children need patience. Friendships fracture over small conflicts. Calmness is the oil that keeps the machinery of relationships running smoothly. Without it, friction builds until everything breaks. Under chaos, we choose poorly. We buy things we don't need, commit to obligations we regret, and react in ways we later apologize for. Calmness is what allows us to see the bigger picture, to step back before leaping forward. Lose calmness, and we live life on impulse rather than intention. Chronic stress doesn't just exhaust the mind, it damages the body. Heart disease, insomnia, weakened immunity, all linked to a lack of calm. The body was not built for constant alarm, yet modern chaos keeps us in a permanent state of fight or flight. And Fusses says finally the deepest cost is the loss of joy. Without calmness, even happy moments are diluted. We cannot enjoy a meal without checking our phones. We cannot rest without guilt. We cannot be present with loved ones because the mind is elsewhere. The chaos robs us not just of peace, but of life itself. This is the hidden tragedy of modern life. We chase more, but we feel less. We are connected to everyone, yet disconnected from ourselves. We are busier than ever, yet strangely empty. The true price of losing calmness is not just stress, it is the slow erosion of meaning. Do you think technology has made calmness harder, or just revealed our lack of it? Share your view. What area of your life suffers most when you lose calmness? Health, relationships, or decisions? Have you ever taken a break from modern chaos and felt your calmness return? Tell us about it. The Stoics would not have recognized smartphones or social media, but they knew the dangers of distraction and chaos. Seneca warned that to be everywhere is to be nowhere, urging people to focus their minds rather than scatter them. Marcus Aurelius, even as emperor surrounded by endless duties, reminded himself daily to retreat inward, to guard his calm as fiercely as his empire. Epictetus taught that we become enslaved when we let external noise dictate our inner state. For them, the danger of chaos was not new. It has always been the enemy of reason and peace. Their solution was timeless. Anchor yourself in calmness. Withdraw from distractions and reclaim control over your attention. In today's hyper-connected world, their wisdom is even more urgent. Calmness is not optional, it is survival. The world will always be noisy. People will always have opinions. Circumstances will always shift like the weather. You cannot stop the storm, but you can build a fortress within yourself, strong enough to stand through it. That fortress is calmness enforced with self-discipline, guarded by awareness, and lit from within by clarity. It is built stone by stone, choice by choice. Every time you resist the urge to argue back in anger, you lay a stone. Every time you choose patience instead of frustration, you lay another. Every time you protect your attention from negativity, you strengthen the walls. Over time, these walls become unshakable, not because the world stopped attacking, but because you stopped letting it in. It does not shut you off from life. On the contrary, it allows you to step into life more freely. When you know your calmness cannot be stolen, you stop living defensively. You no longer waste energy reacting to every insult, every inconvenience, every piece of bad news. You live from strength, not fear. The ones others trust in crisis. The ones whose presence alone changes the atmosphere. They did not build that power by accident. They built it by guarding their inner fortress. Calmness gave them credibility, authority, and influence without needing to shout. Studies on resilience show that people who maintain calm under stress recover faster, make better decisions, and inspire confidence in those around them. Calmness acts like armor for the nervous system. It absorbs the shock of chaos without letting it break you. But building this fortress requires daily practice. Reflection strengthens the foundation. Self-awareness guards the gates. Intentional pauses repair cracks before they spread. Over time, your inner world becomes a place of safety that no external event can breach. What's one practice you use to strengthen your inner fortress of calmness? Do you believe calmness is more like a shield defense or a foundation strength? Share your view. If your calmness were a fortress, what part of it feels strongest right now? And what part still needs building? The Stoics often describe the soul as a citadel, a fortress no enemy could conquer. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Men seek retreats for themselves, but nowhere can man find a retreat more peaceful or untroubled than in his own soul." For him, the inner fortress was the one place untouchable by fate. Epictetus echoed this: external events may strike, but the mind remains free unless we surrender it. Seneca urged his readers to build strength within, for fortune controls possessions and reputation, but not the calmness of one's spirit. Their vision was clear. Life will always test us, but we carry within ourselves a citadel of reason and peace. Guard it, strengthen it, and you will stand unshaken, an unassailable fortress of calmness amidst the storms of life. Calmness in its highest form becomes something more profound: equanimity. Equanimity is the ability to remain steady, not just in small irritations, but in the deepest trials of life. It is the state where joy and sorrow, success and failure, praise and blame all pass through you without disturbing your center. Equanimity does not mean indifference. It does not mean refusing to care. It means caring deeply while remaining unshaken. Imagine standing in the middle of a river. The current rushes around your legs, carrying leaves, twigs, and debris. You cannot stop the river, but you can stand firm. Equanimity is that inner firmness, the quiet strength that lets life flow without sweeping you away. We often think peace comes only when life finally goes our way. But equanimity teaches a different lesson. Peace is possible even when life does not cooperate. The storm may rage, but inside there is stillness. This is why people with equanimity are not easily manipulated. Praise does not inflate them. Criticism does not break them, and fear does not control them. They live from a center deeper than circumstance. Imagine facing rejection without spiraling into self-doubt. Imagine receiving success without being consumed by pride. Imagine standing at a funeral and feeling grief, yet not collapsing under its weight. Imagine standing at a celebration and feeling joy, yet not clinging so tightly that its departure destroys you. This is equanimity, a freedom that makes you fully alive, yet never enslaved by highs or lows. Equanimity grows from every silent victory of calmness, every choice to balance, every act of compassion. It is not a single decision, but a lifelong cultivation. Each time you pause instead of reacting, each time you accept, instead of resisting, each time you breathe, instead of breaking, you take one step closer to equanimity. And when equanimity matures, it becomes a kind of quiet joy. A joy that does not depend on outcomes. A joy that cannot be stolen. A joy that lives simply in being present. Do you think equanimity is achievable for ordinary people? Or only for sages and monks? Share your thoughts. Which challenges in your life test your equanimity the most? Success, failure, or relationships? What practices help you move closer to this state of balance and freedom? The Stoics aspired to equanimity under the name apatheia, a state of being free from the tyranny of destructive passions. Marcus Aurelius wrote that fortune may bring anything, but the mind can remain serene if it anchors itself in reason and virtue. Seneca described the wise person as unshaken by misfortune, not inflated by prosperity. Epictetus taught that the secret of freedom lies in distinguishing what is within our control from what is not, and accepting the latter with calm. For the Stoics, equanimity was not detachment from life, but mastery within it. It was the art of walking through joy and pain without being ruled by either. In their view, Equanimity is the crown of calmness, the highest expression of strength, and the key to a life that remains unbroken by fate. We began this journey by asking where true strength and joy come from. Across these 12 chapters, one truth has echoed again and again. They do not come from noise, chaos, or constant striving. They come from calmness. Calmness is more than the absence of anger or fear. It is the foundation for everything else. From it grows peace, healing, balance, compassion, resilience. Calmness is the silent victory over impulse, the shield against negativity, the fortress that no storm can breach. And in its highest form, it becomes equanimity, the unshakable ability to live fully without being ruled by highs or lows. Modern life may try to convince us otherwise. It may reward loudness, speed, and endless activity, but the price of losing calmness is too high. Fractured relationships, poor decisions, restless minds, and the slow erosion of joy. To reclaim calmness is to reclaim life itself. And here lies the invitation. Begin small. Notice your reactions. Insert a pause. Protect your attention. Let calmness guide your choices. Over time, you will find that peace becomes less fragile, joy becomes less fleeting, and strength becomes less about control and more about freedom. One of our listeners once wrote, "When I stopped chasing noise and started protecting my calmness, my whole life changed. I realized the victory I was seeking was already inside me." May their words remind you that this path is not just philosophy, it is practice, and it is possible. So as we close, I leave you with this question. If calmness became the anchor of your life, how different would your days feel? If these reflections have spoken to you, I invite you to subscribe to this channel and share your own journey in the comments. Together, we can continue to explore the quiet power of calmness and build lives rooted in strength, wisdom, and peace.